Work in Progress, Part 1. It might have seemed to the passion-governed four of us gathered as might 4 or 5 soon-to-be retired train conductors gathered round the midnight flame for a reconsidered seance. A might few or 3 minutes following some all but threadbare midnight's wanting passage around the tall restaurant windows, tentative view of whatever was there without, from the strange and half-fictive outside world offered our travel-thirsting collective visage, therewithal huddled, as if time and place had somehow or other dreamed the four of us up out of an alternate time-sphere of matchstick geographies that much too soon made unsentient by the northernmost pole's apex, far beyond our ill-attended sense perceptions, there within seated. But the real reason, whether it was governed by truth or falsity or something else far less tenacious than the aforementioned, too could have or might have at that half-proverbial place and time willed our passing through the mist-bearded cities and towns, this alternate sphere of winter-chill geography shuffled, as with a gathering of gold-brick hoarding gambetiers shuffle the cards of the deck that was their wing-perched pursuits wanting allegiance therewith by circumspectness appointed them, out of context with our heretofore township squired and ladied pass. It just so might have at that particular moment seemed to be, although some force of night star pretext gravity told us that much otherwise, that whatever homeland's Latin derivatives of lost and found grammaticalities of long ago heroically mythologized legends of seeming yesteryears had willed us therewithal northernmost restauranted windowsill be gathered in our present tense huddle, seemed all out of sorts with either the linear or non-linear half-realities of loosening past had purchased us. Be that as it was, the four of us were not all at in any way, shape, or discordant fashion prepared for the as yet unsojourned trek farther northward awaiting us. Be that something, or else otherwise, we were nonetheless unbetrayed into our own then-present gathering by any vice or virtue we knew to coin into roan-horsed logicisms romantically grammaticalized into half-shaped forms, nor falsehoods therewith in choosing inherited in communications. That night, its own shadowy and shiftlessly myriad doorwayed and window curtain self had, or might have therewithal seemed to the four of us, its own unbetrayable spirits to try us with fires, or its own reinvented and from unwritten literary license shuffled us as it might interchangeable chess pieces, doorway huddled on a board of half-trekked interior regions within as well as they were without us. That day that had preceded its watchtowering unenumerability of lucky and unlucky fated stars now seemed to each one of us to be left him or her by and through another world of chance and permanency altogether, in the week of non-linear calendared days preceding that particular aforementioned day of regroupable, sheltered, and stormed, that were the above preceding day's inheritance seemed as a lonely widower's purchase of a meager group of descriptives. In other words, congruencies of past and futures had no place within the scheme of things driving whatever realities had mythologized us from some otherwise previousness of beings, vaguely geographicalized epistemologies of people's places and or journeys through into the present seemed heretofore never having existed. The very window-side table around which we were presently huddled, as well as its relative incongruence with the strangely interwoven currencies of coinage, livelihoods, the other side of that very same window alongside us was not a place that licensed its own precocious juxtapositions from some heretofore tailor-made game of chance.